Ibu Suzy Hutomo ataupun Ibu Vivy Yusof mungkin udah kayak wah nama besar nih gitu. Tapi sebenarnya siapa sih Ibu Vivy sama Ibu Suzy ini juga what do they do actually? Kita kenalan dulu yuk.
Hello everybody, ini udah jam siang ya, mudah-mudahan gak terlalu lapar ya seperti tadi Flo bilang. Nama saya Suzy Hutomo, saya dan suami saya adalah pendiri The Body Shop in Indonesia. Dan it was a long time ago ya, sekitar 27 tahun yang lalu. Dan sekarang bisnisnya sudah cukup berkembang. Tentu saja ada beberapa challenges tapi tetap bisa bertahan lah dan berkembang. Dan selain itu saya sendiri juga seorang seorang aktivis lingkungan. Jadi that's my other side. I'm an environmentalist. Jadi saya sering volunteer di aktivitas lingkungan dan my big interest is in sustainability.
Hi everyone, Assalamualaikum. Nama saya Vivy. Di sini Vivi, tapi Vivy. Vivy Yusof, saya dari Kuala Lumpur. Saya fly sini hanya untuk anda semua, untuk EndeavHer. So thank you for having me. Actually, I started this company called Fashion Valet in Malaysia 9 years ago. So apa Fashion Valet buat is we are a platform where we carry local designers. We started in KL first and then we berkembang ke Singapura, ke Indonesia, ke Brunei. Then now we ship all over the world, including Middle East and the US. And then 5 years ago, I started my own brand called Duck. I don't know, maybe some of you know Duck, yang berhijab. We sell scarves, so we cater to the modest fashion, the Muslim woman. And it has been growing a lot ever since that. Personally as well, I started as a blogger. Saya seorang blogger. 11 years ago, I started my blog when I was in university, and that's when I grew my follower base on blogging. But now nobody reads. Yeah, Ibu Suzy, nobody reads anymore. So I started my own YouTube channel 2 years ago or last year. And now I have about 200,000 subscribers on YouTube. And on Instagram, I have 1.8 million followers. So a lot of my work is social media. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm also a mom. I'm also a mom of 3. So I started the business with this guy. And then when the business went good, I married him. He's there. So together we have 3 beautiful children. So far so good.
So what challenges did you face in building your business in the first place?
Wow, if we talk about challenges, you'll be here till dinner. Maybe Ibu Suzy, you want to go first? Or?
Okay. I guess when you're launching a business, the biggest challenge is nobody knows about you. Jadi pertama kali kita juga, when my husband and I bikin buka toko body shop tuh nggak ada yang ngerti, what is this? And to be a brand that is, thinking about the environment, 27 years ago, it's a very odd thing. People say, produknya kurang cakep lah, nggak ada packagingnya, all sorts of things. The shop is too green, nggak menarik gini-gini. Jadi tantangannya adalah untuk percaya diri sebetulnya. The biggest challenge is to have your own self-esteem to say, nope, I think we can see this is going to work. So I think that's the first challenge because you have many people telling you it might not work. Because you're trying to start something new, and I'm sure people who are doing nowadays the startups, you face the same challenges maybe. And the second one, I guess, is scaling. Ya, kalau sudah mulai, maybe you have like 3 or 5 shops, and the volume is doing well. Then the next challenge is to go to scale. Now, Scaleup Asia is going to scale, which means that you really can't depend on yourself anymore. You need to depend on other people. You need to become somebody who can manage an organization, yang gitu-gitu. It's also the entrepreneur has to grow ya. Kalau entrepreneurs don't grow ya, kalau kita nggak jadi better managers, better organizational people, then we cannot hire the right people. People don't want to work for us if we're not good, right? So we have to be good in terms of managing other people. And then the next step then is again systems. Systems. How do we develop the systems to keep the pace of this, keep up with the pace of the growth of the company? So those are some of the sort of key challenges, I guess. While being a woman, while having a household, while trying to, like you, I have 3 children, trying to make sure I don't sort of I'm trying to make sure that I am balanced and taking care of yourself. I guess all those are the challenges.
What are your strategies in overcoming those challenges?
How do you face the challenges, you say? How do you overcome, yeah. The first, I guess, again, is you need to believe in yourself rather a lot. I think entrepreneurship means that you need to believe in yourself and your partner. Because entrepreneurs generally don't have a boss that they can blame. Usually when things don't go well, you can blame the boss. But in our case, you've only got yourself.
Blame the husband.
Yeah, that's one way. Right? So you have to be quite strong in that way, I think. And in doing that, you need to have a very open kind of attitude. You need to talk to people, get advice. When you need help, you need to go and seek help. If you don't have enough financial knowledge, you have to go seek people who have financial knowledge. If you're not growing and you know that your growth is hampering the development of your company, then you have to grow. It's a hard thing sometimes to realize that maybe we have to grow in order that the organization has to grow. So for me, I guess that's been like a constant challenge, if you will. I mean, other things, of course. I mean, balancing yourself as a woman, trying to be balanced, trying to be experiencing less stress, becoming more healthy, more fit, everything in that. I guess as women, we don't see things sort of like, how do you say, separated, yeah? It's all together. You've got to become a better person, a better woman, yeah? A better wife, a better mother. It's not easy.
How about you, Vivy? Did I say your name?
Yes. For us, I think because we're in fashion and retail, fashion is such a fiercely competitive industry. I don't know if some of you are fashion entrepreneurs here. You know what I mean. People copycat all the time. There are new companies coming up. I mean, how many hijab brands are there? How many clothing brands there are? You're not just competing with local, but international as well. You have to compete with the Zaras and H&Ms, right? So competition is very very challenging for my industry. When we first started, we were the first one in Malaysia to start an e-commerce yang have many brands under it, right? But then 2 years after we enjoyed the spotlight of being the only one, a huge company came, which is Zalora. They are here as well in Indonesia, and they do essentially the same thing. They carry brands under them, and when they came in strong, and we were thinking, oh my God, habis, this is the end of Fashion Valley, and that's it. They're already poaching our designers. They have more designers. They have international brands. So what we did was we fundraised. So we got our first round of funding. I think at that time it was like 1 million ringgit, and we thought we were the richest people in the world. And with that funding, we basically thought, okay, we're just going to fight Zalora head on. Whatever they do, we just do lah, because it's probably the right thing to do. So they have like 1,000 brands. We had at that time 100 something. So we thought, okay, let's go get more brands. Okay, so we tried to get more brands. And then, okay, they spend a lot of money on digital marketing. They have ads everywhere. So we thought, okay, let's do the same thing. So we spent all the money in digital ads. And then we realized sales were the same. So we were like, what is it that we did wrong? We're doing the exact same thing, right? So we realized that you shouldn't be scared of competitors. You shouldn't try to change your DNA or your business to follow your competitor, because everyone has different specialties. Everyone have different niche. So we realized that maybe we were not cut out to be that huge e-commerce company that burns money to gain market share. Maybe what we're good at is a niche, a smaller niche that we can really focus on and become a profitable company. So that's exactly what we did. But we learned the hard way, because we burned a lot of cash, and we made a lot of mistakes. So the first thing we did was we really looked at our marketing spend and see what worked and what didn't work. We stopped what didn't work, and we let go of hundreds of brands that didn't make money, didn't perform on our website. We scaled down. To scale up, we scaled down. It's very ironic, right? So that's one challenge. I guess second would be like to change the culture internally. When we start up as a startup, it's very fun. You and your friend, 5 people in the office. Your family. You go for lunch together. You stay back, no problem. You can even stay until like 2, 3 a.m. just shooting products in the studio, and it's a lot of fun. You order McDonald's and you just sit together. And then as the company scales up, as you get investors, as you get more managers, and the whole culture changes, right? It's no longer fun. Now you're a proper company that has to answer to people. You're a proper company with targets. You're a proper company with KPIs. It's no longer the startup that people signed up for. So to change the mindset of our team was very difficult. When we started introducing KPIs, when we started introducing performance, we had appraisals, people were just, you've changed, I don't know if you guys hear a lot, like, you've changed. Why are you so different now? You're so, so sombong now, you have KPIs. And it was hard because personally, as a human being, these are the people who grew the company with you, right? You owe it to them. They were there, hard time, good times, but you also owe it to the company to make sure it grows, and it cannot be the fun, without any direction or goals or targets. So I think balancing that is quite tough, but it's something that every startup will face. As much as I still want the family spirit, want to be close to my team, there are some people in the company who I don't remember their names, or I come in, they're new, I'm like, oh, okay, hello, I used to be able to know their husband, their kids, their moms, all the names. Now I don't anymore, and it's a big change for founders as well that we have to manage. But I think the key is to have a really strong people manager, HR manager, who know, our HR manager is awesome. Like, we found him, and he has worked in a startup before and a corporate company before, so he knows how to manage the two, how to merge the good things about those two, very different environments together. So how to make sure that it's still fun, it's still enjoyable to work, but everyone knows that performance is the most important thing.
So both of you mentioned about personal and professional life, right? So it's not only about work, but also somehow connected with your personal life. So how do you overcome the pressure of personal and professional life? Because you got no boss to blame, and you need to be a better person to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest challenge. I don't know for men, but for women, definitely. Biggest challenge is to balance your family life, make sure that you're a good mother. Means that motherhood means you need to be there in key moments, in a constant basis. You still need that. But at the same time, being an entrepreneur means that you need to put in a lot of energy, a lot of thought, right? A lot of passion into your work. So it's really trying to make sure that when you are working, you don't completely forget about your role as a mother. And when you're a mother, you need to make sure that you spend really good time with the children or with your partner, wherever, you need to be able to block out the work. So it's a real skill. I personally think that as a woman, it is a challenge. And it's nice to say that it's easy, but it's not. So it's a challenge. It's a challenge to stay balanced. And plus you have to take care of yourself. As all entrepreneurs, I think we need to take care of ourselves. To keep healthy, eat healthy. I do yoga, whatever, to keep balance so that you can give to other people, to give to your company, to give to your family. If you're not, at a good, if you're not balanced, you're not healthy, it's hard to give that much. Yeah, so that's just my personal challenge.
So don't forget to love yourself, folks. How about you?
For me, I guess I'm a new mom, so my eldest is 6 years old, 6'4", and I have a baby that's 1 year old. So I'm still learning how to juggle both. I'm not gonna lie, it's really, really hard. Because I guess being an entrepreneur, that is your life, You have no switch on, switch off button. Yeah, and I honestly think there's no such thing as balance. Because you just gotta do what you gotta do. Sometimes there's peak times, sometimes there's quiet times. You just have to do your best, right? So quality time, I think for me, it's not just the business. I also have my own personal things like my YouTube channel, my social media, my blog, on top of being a mom and running businesses as well. So it's a lot. So I think time management is extremely important. As moms, you just don't waste time anymore, and meetings are shorter. You're just like, okay, get to the point. No need to all small talk me, Get to the point. And then I think a good support system is crucial. So, having help, having colleagues support each other, having your employer support as well. Like at Fashion Valley, we created a mom's room where they can nurse, they can rest for a while. We also have a kids room that's attached to it where they can bring their kids and the kids can watch Netflix, or we have a ball pit there. And I think this really helps moms because they don't have to worry, if they have to work late, their kid is just there. And there's this one thing that I also learned, because I've always been very active and very go-getter. I just want to do my thing. And then suddenly when I had my first child, I was like, what? I can't do whatever I want to do anymore. I want to watch a movie with my husband, or I cannot. I got a baby. And, things like that. It was a huge life change having my first child. I was a bit shocked, and then when, in the movies, when the baby comes to you and the mom is always like, oh my God, crying, happy. But when my baby came to me, I was like, what do I do now? Life is different, and it is, but you develop love that you never thought was possible, right? And I remember going back to work, I was really, really sad. Like some days where the baby's crying. Even coming to Indonesia, my baby was crying at the door, but I'm just gotta go, bye. Because there was this one moment where I was feeling very bad leaving my first son, Daniel, to work. I was going to work, and then after I closed the door, he was crying, wailing, crying. I closed the door and I stayed there for a while, and I was listening to the door. Suddenly my helper turned on the TV, it was some song, and he just stopped crying. So I felt bad for nothing, because the moment I left, I'm out of his mind. It's out of sight, out of mind. Who's that lady again? I don't need her. I just need milk, and songs. So I think it is a lot to do with the mom more than the child, because the child's fine. You send the child to nursery, you feel so bad, but the child's having a lot of fun. I don't know why you want to feel bad, So I think these are the things where you kind of experience along the way, and you realize, actually, it's good for the child's development as well to learn to play with other people, to know that mommy's working, daddy's working, and someday I'm going to have to work as well. It's good. It's fine. It's fine to leave your kids once in a while.
What were the key moments that got your company to success as it is today? The moment that most memorable?
I think, I think my company is still far from the success that I want it to have. I wouldn't consider myself successful yet, but I think we have achieved a lot of good things, along the 9-year journey. And I think a key moment, it's hard to say one key moment because I don't think it's one moment. I think there's a lot of everyday, small wins that you shouldn't take for granted and you should always celebrate as well. Even seeing somebody wear my product, I'm just like, that is a key moment that you got validity from your customers. But I think a lot of things that we did help scale up the business. Like we changed our business model. That was a key moment. That was a hard moment because we used to sell other people's products. We still sell other people's products. So we were a platform carrying local brands. The problem with that was that we are not in control of our supply. So if the designers had new collection, okay, you get sales. But if that month they felt like they didn't have any collection, you have no sales. And it's very dangerous for a business to depend on other people's supply for you to get revenue, right? So, and then after a while, when Zalora came to the picture as well, like designers started threatening us, like, oh, if you don't buy 2,000 pieces of this, Zalora will buy, so I'll go there. So, it was I didn't like to be in that position. I felt a little bit scared for the business. So what we did was we completely changed our business model. So we were forced to do our own products. So we started house brands, we started private labels, and we started with duck first. And I was feeling very scared because then what would my vendors think of me? Because now I sell my own products, right? But I was forced into it. And so we launched our first collection, and suddenly 5,000 scarves sold out in 1 hour. Online, wow. Right? So that's something that never happened before because with the local brands, I never got that much of volume. And that was the moment when my husband and I realized that this business is a lot bigger than we thought. We could sell 5,000 scarves in 1 hour with our own products. And this is something like local brands would never want to share with us, right? So from that moment on, we changed hats. We started learning about retail. We started learning about building brands. We started learning about production. It's a completely different business because before this, we were e-commerce. We were tech. Now we're retail. We're our own brand. So we're working hard to balance those two. So there are two teams handling the different aspects of the business. That was a key moment, I think.
Thank you, Vivy. How about you, Ibu Suzy?
I guess the key moment for us, when you get to about 10 stores and you're quite happy and things are looking quite good, and then like you realizing that the business could go a lot bigger. So you need to figure out how to finance the business, how to build the organization, how to search for more locations, and you realize that you need to learn a lot, you need more resources, everything, and then that's the moment I think the key challenge is to realize that you need to go there and you need to learn, you need to find the people, need to find the capital. And we did it, we did that. So that was the first challenge, to go above, I'd say about 10 stores, yeah. At that point, you need to be more professional, so to speak. Hire really qualified people. That was a big moment for us, that we hired the first guy whose salary was actually higher than what we paid ourselves,
That's
because
normal.
We don't pay ourselves that much. We had to hire this guy who's being paid more than we pay ourselves. That was a big moment, So that's one moment. The next moment, I guess, is during the crisis economy, crisis in 98. That was, I think at that point we thought that it's either we make it or we don't. But nothing to lose, right? So we made it through by learning also skills to manage our cash. Need to pick up new skills. How to manage cash on a daily basis. How to adjust the prices. How to negotiate with your suppliers. Everything was redone completely to build a new business model just to face the fact that rupiah dropped, to a quarter of its value. So those are some of the big, for us, I think in our growth, I think those are probably the two biggest moments, challenges.
what nugget of knowledge would you like to pass on to the next generation of entrepreneurs?
I'm so young. You're talking about like next generation of entrepreneurs. I would say, well, I started as a very young entrepreneur. I was 22, I think. Age doesn't matter is one. Just do what you love, and I think don't be afraid, because a lot of people are so afraid to like ask questions, ask the stupidest questions. Go ahead, do it, right? And a lot of people are afraid to approach people, approach leaders to ask for advice. I say do it. Just go ahead and talk to people, ask questions, approach people. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. I've made so many, and those mistakes only help me find loopholes in the business to make the business better, right? So just don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of anything.
Yeah, I think it's similar for me. Believe in yourself. Don't be afraid. Even if you fail, you can always start again. I think that's the key thing about entrepreneurship. If you love this process of creating value, creating a livelihood for people, and serving customers, failure it's okay. It's okay to fail, but you can always pick yourself up again, and it keeps you creative. It gives you energy. So I would have the same advice. Just be courageous.
Hi, my name is Ata, and I'm actually the founder of Atala Scarves. So I actually sell scarves to be. Hello, I've been followers of you since Dog Scarves on the Instagram. Anyway, so my questions is, how do you find the correlation between your personal branding and the scaling up journey of your company, since you have such huge following, right, on the social media? Hence, in fashion and retail are, very saturated right now. And you said that you also have sold millions of scarves. And I am just wondering, how do you scale up the fashion and retail? Is it having the correlation between your influence, or what is it that make Duck especially scaled up like this? Thank you.
So with personal branding and the business, I think there are a lot of pros and cons. So like the pros obviously is like, it's great when you first start. Like people already follow you, so it makes sense, sell a product, they're gonna buy. But a lot of celebrity brands fail. Why, right? So I think number one is that no matter how famous you are or how big your following is, if the product is not good, it's just not good. People are just not gonna buy it. And if you're not focused on business, if you're acting, you're singing, you got concerts and all that, your business is always going to be secondary, because that's not your main job is being an actor and all that, right? So I think being fully focused as a businesswoman is very important, unless you have a very, very good manager handling your business. So it started off really well. Duck became a cult brand. I think followers of myself became customers. And then what? So I think you will at one point maximize your follower base. You'll maximize the sales of the people who follow you. Scaling up after that is extremely difficult. So that's when you need to start thinking of this business not just as a Vivy scarf brand, but as a global scarf brand that can stand on its own. And that's our struggle even now, how to detach me from the brand, because it has good, but it also has bad. For example, like since I'm known in Malaysia, a little bit in Indonesia, Singapore, and Brunei, and then we went to Dubai to launch Duck, and nobody knew who I was. So they were like, Vivy, okay. So it was very humbling and I realized that personal branding can only take you so much. After that, it's more than that. The business has to scale up, and it can't scale up with banking on one person, right? So we looked at other strategies in marketing, the brand itself without me, and I think the cons as well is a lot of pressure. When orders get delayed or there's the website breakdown, it's a public embarrassment. They no longer look at Fashion Valet. They don't comment on Fashion Valet's Instagram. They comment on mine. And once I thought doing the right thing, I was like, oh, sorry, can I get your order ID? I'll go check on it. So I thought I was doing the right thing. And then suddenly, 20 other order IDs come up. Can you check on mine, please? Can you check on mine? And it just became so much, So I think having a face to a brand is good, but long-term wise, you definitely need more than that.
What are some strategies that can help women achieve a more prominent role in their organization?
What are some of the strategies? I think first of all, to believe that you are just as good as anybody else. I mean, this whole gender thing, I think it's true that you need to believe that being successful, how do you say it? You can be successful if you're a woman, a man, or anybody. So the first thing is to get rid of the barrier that women are weaker and so on, because we're not really. In some ways we're stronger because we have skills that men don't have, but men have skills that women don't have. So it's, the idea is, I guess, to feel confident. I mean, for me, I think the first rule is you need to come in and feel confident about yourself. So that's the first strategy. The second is you need to network. You need to be out there, like you say, to ask questions, not to be afraid to meet people, to get people to notice if you do something good, to be, like Sheryl Sandberg said, to lean in. That I feel is important, because if we're just, how do you say, one of the strategies is you have to be seen in a way, in your own unique way, not as a, how do you say, a fake thing, but as yourself and your achievements. Yeah, that'd be my.
I think this gender thing is very sensitive, right? But honestly, I never look at myself as a woman. Like, that's not first. Yeah. I'm there because I'm good. That's it. And everyone should think that way. I'm there because I deserve to be there. I'm there because I'm good. I don't know. I don't see the whole woman-men separation, and I don't think women should think that they deserve to be there because there's a quota to be filled. That's sad. Like, you need to be there because you can prove to the world that I'm damn good and I need to be here, and but I do see it in my own organization when a woman, because we hire really young people. And sometimes it's their first job, So then they find somebody they like, they get married, and then they get pregnant. And I'm going to be honest, career stalls, yeah. Suddenly, when you're pregnant, you're not as productive at work as you used to be. Suddenly, my husband wants me home. Suddenly, like, oh, let me ask my husband first if I can stay back. And I'm just like, what? So there are certain limitations being a woman at work. I do see it in my own employees, but I think that is self-induced. I think that is, you put that on yourself, because if you are serious about work, you have to be there. Why do you have to ask permission from someone whether you can do your job? That's just how I feel. I do see that after they give birth and then they have like 2 months maternity leave, right? More often than not, they don't come back. And I'm just so disappointed, because you need to plan your life, right? You had 9 months to prepare for what happens when the baby comes. Am I going to look for nurseries, look for people, look for help? Who's going to take care of your child? You don't think about that after you give birth. God has given us 9 months to prepare. So why didn't you? So I do see a lot of women not being able to progress at work, but I think that is their own self.
I have another perspective. I think that when women are quite serious about their career, or I think there can be many choices for a woman, but when you want to be sort of serious about what you want to do in the world, you do need to find a partner who's cooperative. Yeah, then it gets a lot less stress, because if you have a husband who's very demanding in terms of what he wants and doesn't see that equality in the relationship, then I find that, like you, I notice from my staff, it's quite hard. Even the in-laws can get into the picture, so it's very difficult. But when you have a very cooperative husband who's very happy to be on an equal footing, like my husband, I think yours as well, then then you can do many more things. It's a really wonderful thing to have a very supportive husband.
That's
and
absolutely true.
I am like you. I do have one. Yeah.
So
But
moral.
that's why I think it's important to have this conversation before you get married. Have it in the contract.
So moral of the story is choose the right partner.
No, have it in the contract.
Challenges in finding and convincing investor as womenpreneur. How to overcome it.
Okay.
I actually didn't know this was an issue because I think investors are looking for good businesses to invest in. That's it. They're not looking for male founders to invest in. If they are, that's quite bad, right?
Agree. It's all about professionalism.
What kept you believe your green vision in body shop will work in Indonesia for 20 plus years?
Yeah, interesting question. I think I've always been, I always loved nature as a child. And that's why actually I believed in the body shop, even though at that time nobody did. Because, I don't know how to say, I think that the planet does have to come first. Because the thing is, you see, when you don't have a planet that is rich and and the world that is sustainable, how can you have any business? I mean, look 30 years from now, if we have climate change happening, Jakarta is the fastest sinking city in the world. I hope you guys know that. Yeah. So if you don't have a healthy planet, a rich society, people who are working together, you don't really have much prosperity. So the principle is the planet does have to come first. So I was happy to be in a business where it could address some of my personal values. So it becomes very, how do you say, I get up in the morning and I'm always happy to be working on my business because it's a confluence between my personal values in environmentalism and the business, which fits really well. So I'm really happy every day, honestly, Even
without knowing it's gonna be 20 plus more years or not.
Yeah. Don't know, but every customer I have, every customer who learns more about sustainability, about how we make our products, how the packaging can be returned, and all those things, makes me really happy. Every single person who is convinced, I am really encouraged.
As a womanpreneur, what's your personal goals that connect to your company?
To be honest, I never really thought of that, but I think I've always had a passion in women working. I always encourage women to work because anything can happen. I've seen in my own family, like divorces, or husband passing away, and then the wife just is helpless, right? And then she has to feed 5 kids. It's really sad. And as much as people want to help, and they will help, until when? And that's when the woman wants to start looking for a job. I think it's very, very tough. So I always encourage young women to look for a job and just have stable income and not depend on other people for income. Even your husband, right? With this kind of cost of living nowadays, I think a single income family is very hard. Both husband and wife need to work. That's why I feel so sad when my own team, my own staff leaves after having a kid. I want to be a mom. I want to be a mom. I want to be a wife. Why can't you be a mom, a working mom? Why can't you be a working wife? Because one day you really don't know what's going to happen to you. So it's just more to back up your life, right? You back up your pictures. Why can't you back up your life? So I think that is somewhat my passion that I am slowly starting to realize.
Fantastic. For me, I guess it's quite obvious because I'm an environmentalist. So For me, it's making my company and all 1,300 people who work for me become more environmental. So we have things in the office where we don't have these things. We don't have plastic bottles. We don't have plastic bags. We don't have, we don't have any, those things you can't bring into our office, stuff like that. And they have to volunteer. All employees have to volunteer 8 hours a year. It's a requirement. So slowly what I want to do is change the people who work in my organization to people who care about the planet, and of course society as well. So that's how, for me, I look at it and say, oh my gosh, I have these people that I can influence, and also my customers. Body Shop now, we have, I think, 2 million people going through our stores every year. So I see that as, how do you say, this is my opportunity to influence these people as well.
So before we are sitting here, we were chatting at the back about the sustainability program that Body Shop Indonesia has been done, and it's the only program that been realization in the world. So would you like to share about it a bit?
Oh yes, I think for the past 15 years maybe and more, we have, as you know, all of you who buy Body Shop, you bring back the bottles, right? And then we recycle it. Every year we recycle about 1.6 million pieces of packaging, which is about 20% of all the units we sell in the store. So we are the only one with such a big recycling program, So that's been our...